My name is Hernandez, and I'm the Multimedia Editor at the Crimson White.
I'm Gracie Price, and I'm the Assistant Multimedia Editor at the Crimson White, and this is Episode 3 of Table Talk with the Tide.
On today's episode of Table Talk with the Tide, we'll be talking about SB129 and the bill that has passed and will be going into effect on October 1st. And we'll be talking to the student body on how they are affected and how diversity clubs and all students, whether they agree or disagree, are affected by the bill.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabrielle Gunter. I'm from Jasper, Tennessee.
All right, Gabrielle. So first question would be, do you know exactly what SB129 is, and how do you feel about it?
I do know exactly what it is, actually, and I feel quite negatively about it, actually. I think it's silencing marginalized voices on campus. I think it's horrifying for what it means for the future of the United States, not just Alabama in general. And I actually personally, this is just my own personal opinion, I think it's a sign of fascism coming into the United States. Not to be controversial, but...
Do you know much about SB129, like in itself, and how, what it is, what it means for UA? And could you actually, if you do, could you describe it for us?
So, to my knowledge, it basically bans divisive topics, what they claim to be divisive topics, on college campuses from being shared and stuff like that. I've kind of seen it impact campus in several ways. Like I mentioned, being an RA, kind of like, it's like anything that counts as divisive, like it says, so like anything like, you know, queer related, race related, any type of heritage, ethnicity related stuff is now banned and silenced. I don't even want to say banned, I want to say silenced. And it's pretty like horrifying. And it's like even like scary how it's affecting student orgs and everything. So luckily, so I'm Planned Parenthood Generation Action's event coordinator. We've been privileged enough that it doesn't affect us because we get our funding from Planned Parenthood, but I've seen it affect other orgs like us and them wondering how they're gonna get their funding, how they're gonna do their events, how they're gonna continue. So it's kind of really scary actually here on campus. But I will say something that does give me hope is I'm a women's studies minor. I'm about to start my master's in women's studies, is that program is still ongoing. People can still take those classes. It's not been affected. So the fact that education is still available does give me some hope.
Moving forward, what would you like to see comes of this bill or any potential?
I wish there was a way for the university to push back against it because honestly, speaking to so many people who actually work here full time, they don't agree with it. Like I said in housing, it's like they seem almost apologetic that they have to follow these rules now. The source seems like apologetic that they have to follow these rules now. So it's like I wish there was a way for us to push back against it more. But I think maybe the one way we need to do is just keep being vocal that we don't agree with it and stuff like that, and not let them like silence us or ban us. Like for example, we're literally tabling for Planned Parenthood right over there right now. So, and we're still here. People ask us constantly how the bill has affected us, and it's like we're not gonna let it affect us. So yeah.
Okay, my name is Maggie Jetsy, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Do you know about the SB129 bill that's going into effect October 1st?
Yes.
All right, what are your thoughts on it?
I am very against the bill. I think that it is an attempt to politicize things that don't need to be politicized, and I think it's going to have really negative impacts, not only for the University of Alabama, but for the state as a whole.
And how have you seen that already impact students on campus?
I know that there are several student organizations that it has impacted already. The Black Student Union has had their meeting space taken away in the Student Center, and the Safe Zone in the Student Center is also gone now, which was a place for queer students to come and meet with one another. So I know that it's already impacting people in those ways before the bill has even gone into effect.
Are there any programs that you are currently a part of that have been affected by the passing of SB129 or will be affected?
The main one that I can think of is the Queer Student Association. In the past, they've gotten funding from the university, but with SB129, the university can no longer fund programs that are related to what the bill calls divisive concepts. So things like queer identities and other minority identities can't receive funding from the university. So I know that the Queer Student Association is taking dues this year to help pay for their initiatives. So that is a big change that I've seen already. The main organization I'm involved with on campus is Planned Parenthood Generation Action, and we're lucky enough to get our funding directly from Planned Parenthood. So I think that's a workaround that a lot of student organizations are going to have to do, is to find funding from sources other than the university, which is awful because the university has been able to provide those resources for so long, but that's the main impact that I'm seeing.
How do you wish that they were handling it differently?
I do think the university is doing the best that they can with what they've been given. I don't think anyone at the university wanted this bill because it's going to impact recruiting, I think. I don't think that diverse students are going to want to come to Alabama if they know that DEI programming is not something that our campus is able to provide. So I don't think anyone on this campus wanted this bill to go into effect, but I think they're doing the best that they can with what they've been given. I know that people within the administration aren't particularly happy that the bill was passed. The people in the source that we've worked with have been very open to helping us do DEI programming, even though we can't get funding from the university to do it. So I do wish the university had come out more strongly against the bill, but I think that now that it has been passed, they're doing the best that they can. I mean, I think the passage of this bill just shows how important it is to vote in the election in November and in every election, because especially in the local elections, it can make a huge difference in the policies that affect your home state or the state of Alabama and that affect our campus. So that's something I want to say to everyone in the student body: make sure you're registered to vote, make sure you have a plan to vote in November, because it makes a huge difference.
My name is Philip Davis, and I'm from Tuscaloosa.
Do you know about SB129?
Like, loosely, I know the gist of it. I didn't know what the bill was before it got taken. I just knew that it was, like, I guess, in place. So I've heard a few things, but I'm not, like, super aware of all of the details. This year, I started, like, working with QSA. Not, like, a part of the organization, but, like, I'm trying to, like, do workshops with them and, like, do stuff with them like that. And they, like, have been really, like, stressed out about the bill being taken away because, like, their whole club and organization is built off of that bill. Same thing with, like, organizations for people of color. And also just, like, doesn't it affect, like, admission too? And, like,
It
being able
does
to
to
get into college?
effect, I believe so. I think it's more about just the divisive topics that the university talks about, and then funding for any divisive topics, organizations that are built on divisive topics.
See, I think that's stupid calling it a divisive topic when it's just the livelihoods of people and, like, people existing. Someone's skin color, sexuality, like, creed shouldn't be a divisive topic. I don't think that shining a light on, like, marginalized groups is divisive. I think that that's actually a good thing for people to hear, and it opens up the conversation to more perspectives. Whereas if you get that completely, or like if you get rid of that completely, no one's learning and no one's feeling seen, and we're in the same place that we've been in for like the last 30 years. So I think it's dumb, personally.
Yeah. To clarify, do you mean by taking away, do you mean like taking away DEI organizations or funding to organizations?
Yes.
All right. And to make sure that we're on the same page, SB129 is a bill that basically brings on a ban. And so from that, do you agree with the way that the university responded to the bill passing in the state of Alabama and basically not allowing funding and the mention of these divisive topics in UA public schools?
Yeah, I don't agree. I think that it reminds me of the whole, like, Florida Don't Say Gay thing, which I think is just really random to ban ban a word, even though that word is, like, someone's, like, orientation. Like, I just feel like that's really pointless. and I don't see why there needs to be a ban in the first place. I feel like having conversation is a good thing for all people of all religions, races, whatever. It's like the same thing with politics. Like, that's like banning the word Democrat and Republican. Those are divisive. Why can't we ban those? That causes much more issues and conflict in conversation than saying like what you are and like talking about your experiences as a person who has been like marginalized and I guess ostracized in society.
Yeah. How do you wish the university was handling it differently?
I mean, obviously the university can't go against Alabama law, but I feel like there was a lack of empathy in their response, and I feel like the university, in a sense, is being complacent, and this campus already has a history of, I guess, pushing things under the rug and kind of like brushing off issues, especially when it comes to people who are in these groups and that are affected by DEI being in place. So it just only adds to the stigma of the school and the state as a whole. Because like I'm from here, like I'm from Tuscaloosa, like born and raised, and everyone thinks that we're this like evil, like super, like very anti anything different state. And like, yes, there are some people who feel like that, but we are pretty diverse and we are pretty open. And so UA not showcasing that and like trying to at least advocate a little bit for people affected by this just leaves like a really bad taste as a whole, in my opinion.